Welcome to a new video from my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro, and in this movie review I will be talking about the film Waterloo Bridge. It was released in 1940 and it was directed by Vivien Leigh. It's about an hour and a half long, it's in white and black, and it stars, in my opinion, the most beautiful woman in the world, Vivien Leigh, and the handsome Robert Taylor. And I think that this was for both Taylor and Leigh their favorite film that they had started in. And the movie is based on a 1930 play by the same name. There is also a movie adaptation that came out in 1931, but the plot is quite different from what we see in this one. But I wanted to review this film because I'm a big fan of the golden age of Hollywood, one of movies made in the 30s and 40s, and because it stars Vivien Leigh, who is my second favorite actress. She is great here, and this will be a movie review with mild spoilers, so beware. The plot begins in World War I in London. Roy, a Scottish soldier, meets by accident a beautiful ballet dancer called Myra as they walk on Waterloo Bridge. They really like each other despite the fact that they are strangers. And since Roy is due to go back to the front at any moment, Myra agrees to go on a date with him where they quickly fall in love. But since Roy has to go back to the front, Myra tells him that she'll wait for him and they get engaged. But sometime later, Myra receives word that Roy has been killed and she goes into this sort of depression that leads to her getting fired and being unable to get a new job and becoming a poor woman who doesn't have any money to buy food with, and this all leads her to becoming a prostitute. And after a time she encounters Roy, who wasn't killed. He is back from the front and is eager to marry his fiancée. And the conflict in the movie is based on whether Myra, with a guilty conscience, should tell Roy of her past with other men, or should she tell him nothing and marry him. I give this film a 5 out of 5 star reviews because even though it's a simple storyline, it's quite nice and poignant, and I really can't find anything that I dislike about it. The casting is perfect. I think that there's a lot of chemistry between Vivien Leigh and Robert Taylor, despite the fact that Vivien Leigh was kind of sad to be starting in this movie with Taylor rather than with her husband Laurence Olivier. And regarding Vivien Leigh's performance, I think that she's perfect here, even though she can never do wrong in my eyes. This was her first movie after Gone with the Wind, and we really see the wide scope of her acting ability between the two, because in Gone with the Wind she plays this fiery, passionate woman, and in Waterloo Bridge she's a more sedate, delicate, fragile person, and she manages to portray both women very well. And as to Robert Taylor, I've always enjoyed watching him in movies, and I like to think that Waterloo Bridge is this sort of transcending role for him, because everyone first knew him as Armand Duval in Camille, as this young, foolish lover, and by the end he was known for playing important masculine roles like Ivanhoe, for example. And Roy, the character he plays in Waterloo Bridge, is a nice transition between Armand Duval and Ivanhoe, in my opinion. The only thing that I can criticize about Robert Taylor in Waterloo Bridge is that he's supposedly a Scottish soldier, yet he was an American and he talked in the movie like an American, not like a Scottish man. But now I'll stop talking about the actors and I'll mention more about the plot of Waterloo Bridge. I like it because it's set during my favorite period in history, World War I, and despite the fact that we don't get to see the horrors soldiers went through during the Great War, we do see what happened to a lot of women who had to stay behind and who didn't have men to support them anymore. I'm sure that a lot of them turned to prostitution in an attempt to bring food to the table. And Waterloo Bridge portrays this in a very beautiful yet tragic way. It's bittersweet, and even if in today's world it may seem dumb for Myra to believe that she's an unworthy wife for Roy because she's slept with other men before, 100 years ago that was a very common way of thinking for everyone. I like the fact that Myra sort of reminds me of Tess d'Urberville, Thomas Hardy's heroine of the novel by the same name. I think that they're both pure women despite the fact that they had to become ladies of the night. Finally, I give this movie a 5 out of 5 stars review because of the way the friendship between Myra and her best friend Kitty is portrayed. When I first watched the film a lot of years ago, I thought that Kitty would sort of turn against Myra and try to become her rival for Roy's affections, but she doesn't. Myra and Kitty are the best of friends throughout the movie. They really stick together, and I really enjoy the fact that the screenwriters didn't harm their friendship in that way because of a man. This is it for this movie review, and I want to know what you thought of it and of the film, if you watched it or if you'll see it soon. I would like to know if you enjoy movies from the 30s and 40s as well, and if you do, which are your favorite actors and actresses? Let me know as well if you like Waterloo Bridge story, and what do you think of Vivien Leigh's acting in this film. I want to hear about all of these things and anything else that you can think of. In the description box below you can find links to the movie's trailer and its IMDb page. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for watching my film review of Waterloo Bridge. I'm Kara, the Mental Traveler. Take care. Goodbye.